Hello everyone, good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us. Maraming salamat. For taking the time, of course, to our tech blogger friends here. I know you guys are very, very busy, so maraming salamat for being with us here. Of course, our partner from AB Capital and of course our colleagues from GCash are all here to talk about GStocks primarily, right? So what is GStocks? What's it all about? What it sets it apart from other products? Why should I try GStocks? But of course, a round of introductions for everyone first. First, of course, to my left here, we have Mr. Jong Layub. He is the Group Head of Wealth Management at GCash. And over to that side, we have Mark Ilaw, the Head of Market Education at GCash. So for any of your GCash concerns, especially about GStocks, tech blogger friends, please feel free to ask them later on. And of course, we have our partner from AB Capital, Ms. Hazel Tan. She's the head of institutional research at AB Capital Securities. So, of course, we can talk about yung partnership natin, GCash's partnership with AB Capital. Bakit ba sa AB Capital of all the sea of online brokerages here in the Philippines? Di ba? May pa-controversy pa pala. And of course, for the appreciation of everyone, I'd like to introduce our blogger friends here who really took the time to join us. First, we have Colin Chan from Ungeek. We have PJ Ikogo from GizGuide. We have from Titos of Tech, Eli, Mr. Eli Villagonzalo, our heredero. And Mr. Angie De Los Reyes over to that side. And of course, the Abe Olandres from Yugatech. And Mr. Carl Amiel from Alastech. Okay, so let's begin, guys. From our group of tech blogger friends here, meron na ba kayong questions on what sets GCash or GStocks PH apart? Angie?
Yeah, my first question to you earlier is why AB Capital? I mean, sabi mo kanina, sa dami ng brokers, bakit AB Capital yung napiling partner ni GCash for GStocks PH?
So, siguro I can take that one.
Yeah.
So, I think just to share with you, marami kaming nakausap na mga iba-ibang brokers. No? And I think sa AB Capital talaga nagka-alignment ng mission natin na to make it available for as many Filipinos. So kung mapapansin mo, I think we're one of the few, if not the only broker, no? I'll say the few na lang, hindi ko kabisado, na walang minimum balance na required. No? So anybody can create an account. Tapos, walang fees kapag nag-top up ka at nag-withdraw GCash to AB Capital. So nandun siya di ba? Parang from the start, aligned kami, both companies na we really want to get more Filipinos to start trading.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that when you say may partnership with AB Capital and GCash, the target market are masa. Ibig sabihin, people who have less than 50,000 because yun nga yung limit. So what is specifically yung role ni AB Capital and ni GCash to make this parang collective effort more achievable, reachable sa masa?
So I think what we offer at AB Cap is really yung research. So what I've noticed when I spoke to some people who started using GStock is that they're not very aware of what really stocks are. What does it mean if I buy a stock? Do I own the company? So the investor education, I think, is very important, which is why si Mark is there. And then I think the confidence once we tell you where to invest your money. Let's say we say invest in SM or AC, and then they realize the earnings that they can get from investing in a stock rather than spending it on a bag or a pair of shoes. I think that's what we bring to the table. So we will give you the direction on where you want to put your money, on what stocks and what companies are very good, na even if iwanin mo lang yan ng 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, in the end, panalo ka pa rin. So that's where we come in.
Yeah, maybe just to add, no, I always tell people when it comes to investing, dalawa yan eh. First is the access, and second is yung education, which si Hazel talked about. Si GCash, we've been known for championing financial inclusion. And if you take a look at our track record with other financial products like sa savings or yung inumpisa namin sa GInvest, yung funds, we've brought in millions of people already to the ecosystem. And we hope to do the same for stocks. As I said, mass yung target usually ng mga ganito. But it's really for everyone. That's what we want people to realize na as long as you have a GCash account, you can really build your wealth and make your money work for you.
Yeah, I think one thing lang to add, no? So, hindi na mention ni Hazel kanina, but they are also the licensed broker, no? So actually, to get into stock trading, kailangan license ka by the regulators, no? So sila yung nagdadala nun. So si GCash naman, we are the channel where, you know, customers can actually discover and apply for this brokerage account.
Okay. Follow-up question lang dun sa sinabi ni Sir Abe kanina. Yung question ni Sir Abe. Meron ba kayong mga ilalabas na materials as a tutorial in public para matutunan ng mga taong like me na hindi maalam pa sa stocks on how to use GStocks?
Nice.
Like what
Mark,
type of
yes.
materials? Yung mga videos ba siya? Infographics?
Yeah. So definitely yung education, like we said, very important yan sa amin. So currently we do have existing materials na yung basic how-tos, ganyan. For those who are starting out with their journey, meron kaming material yung mga stock picks to serve as a guide kung saan kayo pwede magsimula. But we'll definitely beef up yung mga content that our users can consume, yung mga 101s, how to start, ganyan. Definitely they can expect those from us.
Saan natin makikita yun? Where can we access those
Yeah.
materials?
So sa GCash usually multi-channel yung ginagamit namin. We're going to bring it to the app, but obviously we have our channels, digital channels, social media accounts namin. We also have a community sa Facebook, yung G-Invest community, where si ABCap currently also shares their material. We also have actually a Telegram group for GStocks PH users. We invite new users to also join that one. Araw-araw meron tayong update doon para alam ng tao yung nangyayari sa investments nila.
Guided yung investments natin, right?
Okay.
Colin, I think you have a question? Yeah.
Actually, it's very interesting that you mentioned a while ago about the reason for the 7-day like vetting process, no? And then you mentioned something a while ago na of course titingnan muna ni AB Capital yung customer, tingnan niyo kung ano yung fit na mga stocks na babagay sa kanya. So the question I guess is when it gets back, when they get approved, they also have like these are the recommendations based on like who you are and you know what you're interested in. So parang customized yung experience for each consumer. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a great question. At this point, admittedly, it's not yet that personalized.
Right.
But obviously, that's what we can call as yung end state na gusto natin. For each individual, meron tayong specific recommendation.
Right.
For now, we're starting with yung recommendations galing kila AB Capital. Basically, they analyze yung stock market. Maybe Hazel can talk about that. And then we have a list of companies that you can start with.
Like also, how do you change the norm of being a stock investor? Kasi like, for example, going back in the days, when you say stockbroker, you're talking about 6-digit figures, you know, just to get,
Yes.
and then yung tedious yung screening. Right now, it's online. So like, for example, the Gen Z, ang mga bata ngayon, iba ang tinitingnan eh. Very short yung memory nila, and then gusto nila, right there and then magde-decide sila. So like some of the nephews and mga anak ng good friends ko that I have now who are first job workers, ang hinahanap nila kagad, gusto ko may 1,000% revenue in 1 year.
Oh my gosh.
So mga ganun na kagad tinitingnan. How do they have to look at stocks as a long investment? Kung sila to yung target ng nila Gen Z, how do you convince them, how you put them in the app to invest on GStocks?
I think I would say, maybe I'll start with that. That when I started working, diba? Mukha akong young, but I've been in the industry for 20 years. One thing I was lucky enough to have was yun nga, an education in stocks. So parang my goal that time was, instead of putting my money in random things, I would put it in stocks or investments because my goal is to have my passive income equal to my actual income para in 20 years di ko na kailangan magtrabaho pero nagkatrabaho pa rin ako. But anyway, so I think how to when I talk to the younger ones, also to my cousins, to yung mga anak ng friends ko, what I tell them is, you know what, para you don't see it now, but these companies, I show them my portfolio before, how much was SM 20 years ago, diba? How much was URC, diba? 20 years ago, URC was 7 pesos, diba? Even if the markets went up, down, where is URC now, diba? It's at 117 per share. So I kind of show them, if you had put your money 20 years ago here, then ngayon, di ba, 20 years later, you can enjoy your life, you can retire. So this is the kind of education that I give to the younger ones right now. As someone who already, experienced it, lived through it, at least, di ba, you save some, you spend some. So you have a certain percentage of your salary, ilagay mo naman in savings or in stocks. And I think that has worked out well for a lot. And so far, the data we are seeing is that the Gen Zs, mas saver sila than the previous generations. So I think it's easier for us to push this kind of concept to them. So that's why GStock is actually quite, it's a good tool for the Gen Zs and the younger generations who has, less attention span, who wants everything at the impulse, diba, at the tip of their fingers. So it's actually very positive.
Maybe just to add, ultimately, it will depend on the risk appetite ng tao. But I think if you take a look at the data, historically speaking, if you're a long-term investor, 99% of the time, you'll be actually making money in the stock market. So I think it's a matter of telling people na when you enter the stock market, you have to have the right mindset. Is it something na you need for the short term or is it really for a long-term goal? Again, most of the time it will be favorable if you do it long-term, but as Hazel said, you can do it short-term. Ako, I'm a firm believer of long-term investing. I was telling Bruce, I had my son just last year. I started investing for him because I want him to have millions by the time he's of legal age. So I think ganun dapat yung orientation ng a lot of people. Just siguro before we leave this point, yung isa pang important na mindset that they should have. Before they enter the stock market, may planning stage kasi yan eh. So actually dapat they have to put up, let's say, mga emergency fund muna sa journey nila so that they will not really need the money they'll put in the stock market. Whether nagte-trade ka dyan or long-term oriented yan, dapat it's a money na you really are looking at it for a long-term growth.
Mark, you're talking about emergency funds. Siyempre, tayo kahit papaano naiintindihan what that is. But for someone na sabihin nating ordinary user, ano ba yan? Ano ba yung preparations talaga na kailangan natin gawin, right? I'm sure a lot of those who haven't, di ba, started their stock investment journey with GStocks. Ano ba yung kailangan natin i-prepare talaga?
Yeah, good question. I think emergency fund, basically, you think of what can possibly happen in life in terms of mga unknowns, health emergency, di ba, mga unexpected expenses. So these are stuff na lahat tayo personally alam natin yung nangyayari yan. The thing is, there's no hard and fast rule magkano talaga dapat yan. But often, people say, just have at least 3 to 6 months worth of your cash flow. If it's your salary, then 3 to 6 months of your salary. Kasi the important thing is, if kailangan mong magtabi ng pera para dun sa emergency na yon, you don't actually get it from your investments.
Yes.
Kasi the last thing that you want to happen is, you put your money in an investment, supposedly it's for long term, but because of an emergency, you need it, and you will pull it out at a time na, let's say, mababa yung investments. Hindi maganda yung takbo ng markets. So yun yung iniiwasan natin. That's why, very important, have that nest first, that egg, yung emergency fund na kung kailangan mo man, nandyan yan. And then, have a separate account for your investments.
Our friends are getting very free and sound financial advice. Hopefully, we're all taking notes here.
Konti na lang convince na ako.
Question, going back dun sa basic and full, how much are the limits?
Limits?
50K?
Yes, so for basic account rather, it's up to 50,000.
Daily or
At any point in time.
any point?
So once you reach that amount, you need to actually upgrade it to a full. Tapos yung full, walang limit yan.
So for
at all.
example, I bet on a stocks, like I put 25,000, then it doubled up. So I need to upgrade na full because it will stop ba or what will happen?
Yeah, hindi naman magsa-stop, but definitely, since nandun ka na sa tier na yon, if you want to add more to your existing investment, then you have to upgrade.
But
How about the trading cost? Like for example, if I use GStock, so si GCash yung parang platform ko to remit or to withdraw, diba? Will there be any difference in the trading fees or whatever compared kung existing AB Capital user and I transfer money using like BPI. Will there be any difference? Will I see a difference if I use GCash to fund or I use BPI to fund?
Yeah. So actually, as Jong mentioned kanina, funding wala tayong charges.
Wala.
Withdrawal or top up. And then in terms of trading fees, it's actually the standard sa
Standard.
industry.
So no difference.
No
It's just
difference.
that
Yep.
Mas mabilis kasi
Mas
GCash.
mabilis lang siya.
And accessible.
Yeah.
More accessible.
Sa GCash, if you trade through GStocks, parang you can be assured that the fee that you're paying is the minimum.
Yeah. The lowest possible. Yep.
In fact, we actively talk to the regulators to, review this fund to make it more affordable for users.
Yeah. So makikita natin, Angie and Abe, since you guys have been trading before, talaga ang dami nating questions. But we have 4 out of 6 here who haven't really tried kahit outside the GStocks
Yes.
platform. What's been stopping you guys?
Personally, sorry for cutting you guys.
Go.
Personally, it's too intimidating for me.
Yeah.
To intimidate.
At
I mean,
first.
ikaw na yan, TJ,
Yeah.
Intimidating pa. Okay.
It's a little intimidating
Yeah.
for me and I have zero knowledge kung ano ba siya. And that's why, isa rin yun sa mga reasons bakit hindi ako magano'n ka-interesado sa kanya before. But now that meron na siya sa GCash, baka mas madali na siyang ma-access talaga.
Yeah.
Diba?
Colin.
Yeah, well, on my case naman, parang I actually did try, but it's not stocks though, parang like crypto.
Yeah.
But it was because of the wave back then.
Yeah.
And then for me, I totally just didn't understand it. Parang tipo sinabi nila sa akin, maglagay ka lang ng something. And ako naman parang, okay, I guess. Makikinig lang ako. But I don't understand what it is.
Yeah.
For me, I need to understand like what it is talaga. For me to be really invested
Yeah.
in something. And tama, hand in hand with what PJ was saying, it's really education. I grew up in a household where stocks wasn't really discussed.
Yeah.
Like, there's also the myth na parang, stocks ano lang yan eh. Diba, legal gambling lang yan.
I guess, Carl, you agree, no? Parang nakikita ko sa mga
Yes, I kind of agree naman with
Yes.
Colin regarding that. Actually, kay PJ din, one, intimidated din talaga ako. I have basic lang na knowledge about stocks. Wala akong plan kasi parang, when we talk about stocks, it's more of like, kagaya na sinasabi nila, Sir Abe, tsaka ni Angie, it's more of like thousands and millions. Malalaki yung mga budget na minsan nilalaan nila doon. And I'm not really one to invest such big money on one basket. Kumbaga parang I wanted more of
Yeah.
like
Right.
I want to put the eggs on more baskets para at least-
diversify.
Yes,
diba?
that's the term I'm looking
Yes.
for.
Okay, so Eli, tama. How
Yes.
can we take,
How can we take
maximize
advantage?
AB cap?
Yes.
So taking advantage of AB Cap means you can use our research. It's going to be available in GStock. You can actually use the various platforms.
Yeah, so
Thank
feeling ko yun
you.
kailangan yung mindset shift na yun Now we
Yeah.
start looking at investing as a very productive activity talaga. It should be
Yeah.
part of your lifestyle. And siguro, just to touch also on what you said kanina na normally Filipinos nasa savings mindset tatago ko na lang. They think that's a safe thing to do. But in reality, if you take into account yung tinatawag nating inflation,
Yeah.
no, like last year was so high, right? You were seeing 6%, 8%. The past 15 years, it was at what? 4%.
Yeah.
The past 2 years, we're seeing rates at good levels, right? Nakakita ka 4%, 5%. But that's not going to stay forever. Na ganyan siya. So if you think about it, you think saving will be safe. In the long run, you're actually losing purchasing power. And the only way to actually defeat inflation is by investing.
Yeah.
That's why there should really be a lot of mindset shift.
Yeah.
So
So
we
marami
can help.
talagang like consumer education yung
Exactly.
kailangan gawin.
Yep,
Yes.
yep.
So what sets, yun nga, GStocks apart, going back to our initial conversation, na, okay, mas madali na sa akin to, mas simple na ito.
You don't have to keep redoing the KYC.
Yes.
I remember I used to work in a multinational bank. No? Pero open ka ng savings account, daming forms. Open ka ng credit card, daming forms. Insurance, investment. So parang kahit nasabihin mong isang company na lang yon or sister companies, inuulit-ulit mo yung process na yon. So ngayon, aside from digital na siya, I don't need to keep on, entering all of those information again and again.
Just to present some proof, I think if you look at the various online brokers or various brokers, I think the average number is 20 years, 2 decades, just to open 500,000 accounts. I think GStock did it in 2 years. They were able to open 356,000. So it kind of gives you already an idea, diba, how fast they work, how fast we work. That it took them only 2 years, GStock, to actually open that many accounts.
Yeah, and syempre back to our lovely, handsomes and lovely speakers here. Balik natin, very quickly, may mga na-convince na tayo, but how else can we convince? Why should they start using GStocks now?
Well,
John.
for me, it's so simple.
Yeah.
Kanina nga, di ba, habang nag-usap tayo, nakapag-apply ka na, di ba?
Yes.
And parang the timing is really right now.
Yeah.
Di ba? So, parang this is a maybe once in every few years opportunity
Yes.
for everyone. So, I really parang recommend it. No? But I also want to share, Lynn, na, I mean, people shouldn't feel pressured to get into it, di ba? I mean, that's why we have many different products in GCash. Maybe, you know, sabi nga kanina, you start with savings and you get into more and more, I would say, parang riskier products, di ba?
So Jong, bali fast talk. I mean, saying after that, saying all that, why should I use GCash? And why now?
The timing is
GStocks,
perfect.
rather.
The timing is perfect and it's so simple to do.
Timing perfect, so simple to use. Hazel.
Maybe I'll ride on what si Jong said. Timing is perfect. So if you look at the stock market cycle, we're at the very bottom. Very bottom. There's no foreigners investing. Very little. Liquidity is so bad. The stocks are so cheap right now. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Yes.
In a nutshell, I think, timing is right. We're at the bottom. There's nowhere to go but up.
Mark?
I guess I couldn't agree more with what they said. Siguro, why use GStocks PH? I'd say you owe it to yourself. Kasi, like, as we've been discussing, no, you have to find ways to grow your hard-earned money.
Yeah.
And kami sa GCash, we're very passionate to help people build their wealth. That's why we started with providing people access to different financial products. And then, nandito kami ngayon, trying to educate people, and they can actually rest assured na it's not gonna stop with you signing up with us.
That's the time we have actually, medyo. So maraming salamat to our friends here sa other side. And of course, Jong, Hazel, and Mark. Thank you so much for all your insights. Hopefully, marami kaming mamamay na sound bites with our discussions. Thank you so much for sharing your anecdotes, personal experiences. Okay, again, maraming salamat. Thank you, everyone. And palakpakan naman.